Federal cabinet ministers are meeting with Indigenous leaders today to discuss racism in the healthcare system. Last month, an Indigenous woman, Joyce Echequan, recorded video of staff at a hospital in Quebec using racist slurs against her shortly before she died. Today, there are more allegations of racist treatment. A Manitoba First Nations woman says she was yelled at and accused of drinking while seeking help at a Winnipeg hospital on Labor Day weekend. The CBC's Marina Van Stackelberg is in Winnipeg. So Marina, this woman, Sadie North, spoke at a news conference earlier. What did she say happened while she was in hospital?
Well, Sadie North says she's never had a drop of alcohol in her life, but that didn't stop an ER doctor from asking her how much she'd had to drink. Now, Sadie North is in her 70s. She's from Bunabonabee Cree Nation here in Manitoba, but she lives in Winnipeg. This happened over Labor Day weekend. She was at a picnic with family when she started feeling ill, so they took her to nearby Grace Hospital. Of course, because of COVID-19 restrictions, Sadie had to go into hospital on her own. She was supposed to be getting blood work, but she was in so much pain she was sitting in her walker. That's when she alleges a clerk started to yell at her, telling her she should walk on her own. At that point, she started to throw up on herself and passed out. The next thing she remembers is lying on a stretcher with doctors looking at her. But she says the mistreatment didn't stop there. Next, she was seen by a doctor who wasn't interested in looking at her leg.
He said, "How much alcohol do you use? How much alcohol do you use?" And right there, that was the wrong way to say it. That's not a right way to introduce yourself. I don't use alcohol. I don't use alcohol. He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "When you're diabetic and alcohol doesn't mix together." And on. He didn't even look at my infection on my leg.
And so what Sadie North had was a severe bacterial infection on her leg. She's now doing better after a 5-day stint in hospital.
And so what's the hospital saying?
Well, we have asked the hospital for an on-camera interview. We've been told we will get a written statement later on this afternoon. The family says they want more to be done. They have complained to the hospital. The hospital told them they are working on doing cultural sensitivity training, but the family says that's not going to go far enough. They want the doctor and the clerk to be fired, and they've made a complaint with the College of Physicians. They say they worry about other Indigenous people, especially elders, who might be going into hospital alone because of COVID-19 restrictions. And of course, all of this comes as federal officials meet with Indigenous leaders today to talk about racism in Canada's healthcare system. Andrew?
Marina, thank you. That is the CBC's Marina Van Stackelberg in Winnipeg.